Now, I've always been rather keen on pepper steak, but this is nothing like the French pepper steak. This is a Cantonese version. I actually had a dish very similar to this at the Flower Drum in the very early days. Flower Drum, of course, is Melbourne's very, 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 very famous Chinese restaurant, or Cantonese restaurant it was. Started by wonderful, the master, Gilbert Lau. I think I've spoken about Gilbert before. But anyway, beside the point, one of the reasons I remember it so much was the beef was cooked medium rare, which was very unusual. You know, normally it was cooked within an inch of its life, and I always remember that, and I always will. Anyway, I'm glad I've shared that with you. So today I'm going to see if I can do that. And of course, because it's medium rare, you have to have a prime cut of beef, not just gravy beef or something else. I'm using fillet steak, I fillet, because I'm going to sell my house and be able to afford it. But you could use porterhouse or rump or something like that. I don't know why I used fillet. I saw this piece of fillet at the butcher and I thought, oh yes, that's me, it's got my name on it. So let's make the sauce first of all, which is the very important part of this. 3/4 cup of beef stock. Packet is fine, because it's not a dish that's going to end up tasting of the beef stock as such, so therefore you can use packet quite happily. If the beef stock was the prime ingredient, that's a different thing. 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 2 tablespoons of dark soy, a little bit of black pepper, not much black pepper because I'm putting other peppers in. I've got some green peppercorns there which I have drained and rinsed well, so there's about a tablespoon of there. 2 teaspoons of sugar and 2 heaped, and when I say heaped, I mean heaped teaspoons of corn flour. And just whiz that up. And we'll just leave that to the side. Just light our flame, put a wok on, a little bit of veggie oil, and we'll just heat that until it's smoking. All right, guys, some well-trimmed fillet steak, and don't overcrowd the wok. And we're going to put some white peppercorn on that, because as I said, it is a pepper steak, so a little bit of salt. Not too much, because you've got that soy. And we're only going to seal this, because as I said, I want to keep it a bit under. So 3 pieces, I've got 6 pieces, so there's enough here for 2 or 3 people. 2 or 3, what a funny about 2 greedy people. And between sealing, let's just heat it up again. Now repeat the process with the white peppercorn and a little bit of salt. All right, I'm making a bit of noise here, aren't I? Right, I might put just a little bit more oil in there. Once again, veggie oil. This is not something you use olive oil for, guys. I've got 1 onion which I've cut into sort of quarters and separated. I've got a decent sized green capsicum which I've cut into wedges. I've got about half a dozen button mushrooms which I've cut into quarters, and I've also got a couple of teaspoons of ginger and a few cloves of garlic. So I'm going to saute all these. Now you do this over a pretty high heat because you want it to be a little bit charred. You know how when you go to a top Asian restaurant, the veggies in the stir fries always have a little bit of a char to them, don't they? So you can see it's starting to get a little bit of colour to it. Now when it's started to get that little bit of char, we start adding this liquid bit by bit. Don't add it all at once because you want it to reduce. And if you add it all at once, what happens is the veggies boil rather than sauteing. So it's starting to look good. So it's not a long-term project. The beef goes back on top. And just mix it around, keeping that beef nice and medium rare. And if you feel like I do, a little bit more stock could do, because it's reducing a little bit too much, you have my permission to do it. Gee, I'm a nice fella. All right, guys, let's start thinking about serving. 2 or 3 pieces. I reckon 2's enough, to be absolutely honest. Let's just put something on top. Needs a bit of colour, doesn't it? You can put some spring onion on if you like as well. But I'm just going to put a little bit of nice red long chilli on there. And to go with this, you need something without a lot of tannin in it, because you've got all those peppercorns and you've got the spice, things like that. So what I've got here is a lovely rich French Côte d'Aron, which to me will be the absolute perfect match with that. All right, Cantonese peppered beef, yeah, good stuff. Guys, to show your support for my channel and to keep in the loop, subscribe. It's easy to do, and don't forget, it's free. Okay, cheers.